G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, issue 306. Wow, 306. I'm going to review this comic using my space system. Story, pacing, artistry, characters, enjoyment. Each category gets a score between 0 and 2. 2 is the best. I really like this comic a lot. Maybe kind of like too much. I'm going to try to be critical, though, on my review. I don't know what it is about this comic, but it just draws me in every damn time. I always look forward to reading it. There's just something special about it. I can't actually put my finger on it. Maybe it's Larry Hama, the writing, and the characters. And I'm not even a massive G.I. Joe guy. Like, I sold all my G.I. Joe. I kept maybe like 10 G.I. Joes that were special to me as a kid, and the rest I sold. From the classified series, the only figure I have is Spirit. Some of the 25th anniversary ones, I bought a lot of those and I sold most of those. I kept maybe like 7 or 8 of those. And I do own the entire cartoon and all the movies that came out, except I didn't get that Snake Eyes movie because it's not really G.I. Joe. So I'm not like a big super G.I. Joe guy. I like G.I. Joe. I don't love it and be like, oh man, I gotta, but this comic's killing it. I'm gonna give the storyline a 2 out of 2. I'm so intrigued. It's like, this feels like there's like a longer thing going on here. Normally, if I'm looking at a comic, I'm looking at just this comic and I say, well, what was the story just in this comic? And that works for a lot of silver, bronze, kind of, well, golden age, silver age, bronze, where you have, pretty much self-contained story in a comic, or it might be a 2-parter or something like, or, friggin' Days of Future Past is 2 comics. It's 2 parts, right? Like, so, but I'm going by just how interested I am in continuing it on. And I'm super interested. So what's going on is that Zartan, it's like everyone's got a faction. So there's Destro's faction, there's Cobra Commander's faction, there's Serpentor Khan's faction, and there's Zartan's faction. And then there's the Joes. And everyone is like versus each other, but also versus the Joes. There's that other group. I cannot pronounce their name at all. Can someone in the comments tell me how to pronounce Revanche, something like that, Revanche? I don't know how to pronounce them. They got those guys. You don't know what's going on, and I'm really excited about it. I don't know why. I'm just like, oh man, is Zartan gonna join Destro? Maybe he will. Maybe they'll team up or whatever. Oh, that's cool. It's like Cobra Commander and Serpentor Khan are definitely not teaming up. Like, they're apart, and I don't even know which faction I like better. Cobra Commander is like definitely my favorite guy, but Serpentor Khan, I always thought he was kind of lame, but in this comic, with Larry Hama here at the helm, man, this guy's badass. I really like him a lot. He looks cool. So there you go. Pacing, oh man, I mean, I'll give, I wasn't bored at all, and it was like intriguing. So for that, it would be a 2, but you know what? There wasn't any action in this. There was a little bit with Snake Eyes working out here, doing a test. So I'm going to give it a 1. I'm going to give it a 1 for pacing. I wasn't bored, but it is going to reflect a little bit of the lack of action. You know what? I'll give it a 1.5. I'm going to give it a 1.5 for pacing. There needs to be more action in G.I. Joe per issue. If you want good examples, check out like an X-Men 97 cartoon where good blend of characters and story and action. So I needed more action here, but still really good. The art, I'm giving it 2 out of 2, man. I like the art here. It's definitely grown on me. I really like this cover, that's for damn sure. It feels very exciting to me. The characters are so cool. G.I. Joe has just some of the coolest looking characters as well, Destro and Baroness and all them, and like, look at that Zartan. So I'm giving it 2 out of 2. I'm not saying that the art in this comic is better, than Alex Ross or something, or Jack Kirby or Neil Adams. I'm just saying that in this comic, it's all coming together perfectly for me. And I went back and I looked at some of the IDW G.I. Joe comics that led right up into this, like 298, 299, and I did not like the art there to me at all. It did not fit for G.I. Joe. This just fits perfectly for me. While I'm talking about art, I do want to mention my channel sponsor, beardedshirts.com. I've shown this one a few times here, Dazzler. I love this Dazzler cover. This is the first appearance of Dazzler. They don't just have X-Men. They actually have G.I. Joe #1 as a print all over shirt. So the cover of one with everybody running forward. So beardedshirts.com. They're in the description below. got sales on all the time. And if you don't want print all over, they can just do a shirt that's just like a whatever color shirt you want, and they put your Superman your Superman logo or your Ultra Boy logo, whatever. They've got that kind of stuff, or just a character if you want just Legion of Superheroes, or Batman or something. So check them out. If you become a member of the channel, we do give a shirt away every month. So there you go. Characters, well, I got to give it a 2 out of 2 for characters, because I love every character in here, and I don't even know what side I'm on. I'm kind of like, to me, it was always Cobra Commander was clearly my favorite character, and that's the end of it. But man, Serpentor's pretty awesome. Everyone likes Destro, and pretty much everyone likes Zartan. So you're like, you've got 4 villains now, and all of them are so cool, and you almost feel like there's not enough comic to fit them all in. Like, I think when this arc is done, or I don't even know if it's going to be an arc or if it's just an ongoing saga. It feels like it's just an ongoing saga, really. So enjoyment factor, I'm going to give the enjoyment factor a 1.5. I was going to give pacing 1, and I gave that 1.5. So I'm going to give the enjoyment factor 1.5 because I wanted more action, and I'm trying to be critical. So officially, I'll give this a 9 out of 10. I want to just give it a 10, so just say, who cares, it's a 10. But there needs to be more action in G.I. Joe. But for what we're getting, it's great. What's the price on this one? $3.99, so it's a typical price comic. I'm really liking this a lot. I don't think it's getting enough buzz. Look, the Transformers Skybound stuff is freaking awesome. The G.I. Joe stuff is pretty good. The Cobra Commander series is really good. I think Duke was okay. But I think that the Transformers comic is amazing, and this comic is amazing, and I almost wish it was these two just going side by side. I actually don't like mixing the two properties. I know that might be a hot take, or I'm in the minority. I feel that once the Transformers enter the picture, they overshadow everything else. Like, Cobra Commander is only as cool as when he's there with other guys. Soon as you put Megatron or like Starscream or any of the Jets, really, they all look cool. You got Devastator. Well, when you look at Cobra Commander, like, versus, Grimlock or something, you're like, well, oh, sorry, right? Like, if Destro's your guy, so if it's Destro and Starscream, you're like, well, man, Starscream's like so cool because he's a giant robot. It's just, I don't like the mixing. I feel the Joes are just underplayed. And also, realistically, if G.I. Joe was a real organization, they wouldn't have time to fight Cobra. They'd have to fight the Decepticons. Like, the Decepticons would be the threat. I almost think that the Decepticons would unite everybody. Serpentor Khan and Cobra Commander might just be like, okay, forget our differences. There's robots out there, right? Now they've got Cobra Law as well in that other series. Now I don't think Cobra Law is in this. I don't think so, but it's in that other series, and you're like, well, now Cobra Law is involved in this. Like, there's a lot going on, and it's just too much, I think. But that's just my opinion. Let me know your opinion in the comments below, and if you like my space review, please like the video and consider subscribing. That's it. Thanks for watching. Until next time.